So, I've never played a Theatrhythm game, and I think I've been missing out because just recently I've been playing Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, and it's possibly the best game I've ever played. Like, genuinely. What have I been doing with my life? Why have I not played this game? Why have I not played the previous versions of this game? What's wrong with me? And I've just got to say really quickly at the start of the video, a massive thank you to Square Enix for hooking me up with a copy of the game, because, yeah, it's stolen quite a few hours of my life recently. The only thing that's actually stopped me playing it is Octopath Traveler 2, which we'll talk about in another video very soon. What a game. What a game. But let's get on with this. Let's talk about Theatrhythm. What is Theatrhythm? So Theatrhythm Final Bar Line is the latest in a series of rhythm games from Square Enix, and it comes with quite a few songs. It's got 385 songs from across the whole Final Fantasy series, and that's from Final Fantasy 1 all the way to Final Fantasy 15, with a large number of side games being included, and on top of that, special mixes of songs that take a journey through the franchise themselves, medley tracks and things like that. The game really has got something for pretty much every single Final Fantasy fan. Now, the gameplay is pretty simple, with notes coming across the screen from left to right, and as the notes come across the screen, you have to interact with them. Some of them will be a quick press of a button, some of them will be a press and hold of a button, some of them will be a press and hold of a button with squiggly analog stick business. I'm not the biggest fan of them. And then others will just be arrows on there, which you have to press the analog stick or one of the analog sticks in the respective direction. There are various difficulties, all the way from nice, easy, relaxed, single button mode. Do you know what I mean? You can just take it easy, you can just relax, you can just play through the songs, no stress about it. All the way up to face-meltingly high speed, massive amount of notes, stupidity. Absolute stupidity. Like, every song's got an ultimate difficulty, which is the highest difficulty level for most of them. But every now and again, there's a song that's got a supreme difficulty level. And when you go to the supreme difficulty level, just brace yourself for pain. Just be prepared for pain. I've so far managed to clear, I think, a couple of supreme difficulty songs. I'm going through the whole game on Ultimate. I'm all the way up to Final Fantasy 15 now, so, you know, we're nearly there. But Supreme hurts. Supreme hurts a lot, especially when you're playing things like Big Bridge and Advent Children, One Winged Angel. Do you know what I mean? Some of the songs, Birth of a God, like, some of them are absolutely ludicrous. And a lot of it kind of comes down to how you hold the pad, what kind of buttons you press in. So the way I do it at the minute is I use R1, R2, L1 and L2 with like 2 fingers on each of the, you know, a finger on each of those buttons all the time. And then I've got my thumbs on the analog sticks. To me at the minute, that feels like the best way to do it. For most of the game, in like the earlier difficulties, the most notes that you'll be interacting with is 2 at a time. In Ultimate, I think there's 1 or 2 tracks that I've got 3 at a time, maybe even a 4 at a time. But then when you get into Supreme, you start seeing a lot of times where you're interacting with 2, 3, even 4 buttons all at once. And it's a bit mind-blowing. So one thing I would say is you definitely want to figure out your optimal hand position, what works best for you. Like, just mess around with it, try different things. You'll find something that's comfortable for you. And like I say, you can start at any difficulty and gradually work your way up to the bigger stuff. Visual-wise, the game's got like a chibi aesthetic to it. It is pretty cool, it's very good. One thing that does annoy me a little bit is that the background animations can make it rough. Sometimes when you try to see the notes, it makes it difficult to identify what's coming up, because there's so much stuff going on in the background. Like, it kind of blurs the vision that's coming through to you. It kind of makes it difficult to interpret certain things. You can turn that off in the settings though. I kind of like the challenge a little bit. It's annoying, but I kind of like the challenge, so I've left them on. But if you really want to, you can go into the settings, you can turn off the background animations, and yeah, not have to put up with that stress. But because I'm streaming, I feel like I should leave the animations on, do you know what I mean? Let people have something other than my failures to watch. It's a good plan. Now, like we were talking about earlier, the number of songs in the game is just absolutely ludicrous. There's at least like 5 or 6 songs from every single Final Fantasy game that you start off with initially. And then when you complete them in the story mode, you unlock more songs that go into like the music stages. So after you've got the main story, the series quests, you've got these music stages. And this is where you can kind of free play. You can kind of choose whichever song you want, be it the story quest songs, the unlocked songs, your DLC songs, of which there is a substantial amount, and we'll get into that in a minute. But you can just kind of go in there and just play whatever you want. And then alongside the series quest and the music stages, you've got multi-battle, which is where you and up to 3 other players can play in a multiplayer battle, where you can kind of mess with each other. So if you're doing really well in the game, you'll send debuffs to your opponents and vice versa. They're doing really well, you're going to get tripped up. It adds another level to the game because you can compete against other people, and yeah, very fun, very fun. Everything about this game, in fairness, is very fun. Now, I did mention a second ago about quests. When you're playing through the main story, each song does have like a quest that you can play through. Some of them are just complete the song on this difficulty, or hit this certain score. Other ones, like when you're playing through the songs, in the background, I was talking about the animations earlier. So your party of characters who you select and you can equip skills to as you level them up and things like that. Your party of characters are going to be fighting through battles against like bosses and normal enemies and etc, etc, etc. And depending on how well you're doing in the song, it'll trigger attacks for them. You also have summons that can trigger as well. And some of the quests will be to reach a certain point. So fight through all of the enemies while playing the song and get to a certain point. Like beat this boss in this song, that kind of thing. So some of them you might have to level up a fair bit so you're doing more damage in order to be able to come back and complete the quest. But yeah, completing the quests gives you access to collectibles, so you can get things like potions, phoenix downs and stuff like that, which will help you massively if you're struggling with the song. They'll just kind of trigger automatically when a certain criteria is met. So if your HP drops below 20%, bam, you'll use a potion. And you'll go back up to 50%. And as well as that, you can get things like collectible cards, you can unlock loads of things. There's loads of customization that you can do. You get a massive selection of summons that have all got different skills and abilities that you can equip. You also get different airships that'll drop you off into the level as you start it, which is, you know, a nice little touch. You can pick your favorite airship, you can pick your favorite characters. There's a massive number of characters that you can unlock for each game. And I would assume more of them coming with the DLC that we're going to get in the future. Yeah, there's just so many things that you can pick up and acquire, so many quests that you've got to do, so many songs that you can play on various difficulty levels. It's just massive. It is such a massive game. Now, speaking about the DLC. So the DLC for this game is broken up into 3 season passes. We've started off with Season Pass 1, which starts off with a saga pack of 7 tracks, so from the saga games. And then I'm just going to quickly blast through them all, just so you can get an idea of how many songs we're actually going to get. So you've got on March the 1st, Live a Live, 4 tracks. On March 15th, Twewe, 6 tracks. On March 29th, Near, 5 tracks. April 12th, Saga, Volume 2, 8 more tracks. And that's the end of Season Pack 1. Then Season Pass 2 starts on the 26th of April with Near Volume 2, which is another 6 tracks. And then we get the big one that I'm really looking forward to. May 17th, Chrono Trigger, 6 tracks. We get 6 beautiful tracks from Chrono Trigger. And then about 3 weeks later, on June the 7th, we get 6 more beautiful tracks from Chrono Trigger. So I am extremely hyped for those. After that, we get the Mana series. There's a pack of songs from there on June 28th. Octopath Traveler 1 on July 19th, we get 5 tracks. More Saga tracks on August 9th, another 7. More Mana tracks on August 30th, 6 more. Xenogears, we get 3 tracks from Xenogears on September 20th. And then there's 2 unannounced, we don't know what it's going to be, track sets. One of them on October 11th, which is going to be 6 tracks from an unannounced game. And then another 8 tracks on November 1st. My brain's telling me Final Fantasy 16 probably. It makes sense. It'll be a few months after Final Fantasy 16 is released. I think that's a good shout. I think that's a pretty good shout. But yeah, as you can see, a massive amount of tracks that are going to be available to DLC, on top of the already gargantuan 300 and odd tracks, whatever number it is, I said it a bit earlier. It's just insane. It's just insane, and it is so much fun. It's so enjoyable to play through these songs. Like, if you've never played one of these games before, I would recommend it, because you can find your difficulty level, you can play it at whatever difficulty you want, and you can just enjoy the beautiful music of Final Fantasy, like the whole franchise. So yeah, that is a quick overview of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, and I'm pretty sure you can guess by now. I don't know, maybe I've been a little bit quiet about it, but I love this game. Like, this could be a Game of the Year candidate for me. Obviously, in the grander scheme of things, it's not going to be Game of the Year because not all of gaming is going to play it and love it. But for a Final Fantasy fan, 16 or Rebirth are going to have to be so good to top this game. Like, oh my god, the bar has been set high. The bar has been set real high. Nah, I'm only messing. I know it's a completely different type of game, but genuinely, it is one of the most enjoyable games that I've played in a very long time. I'm a bit of a Guitar Hero 3 nerd from back in the day, so maybe this was quite obvious that this was going to be the case. But yeah, it is so good. It is so good. And if you've got a chance, if you've got the money spare and you've got the opportunity to get a hold of the game, I highly recommend it. I believe the demo is still available on PSN. and possibly on Switch as well. So, you know, I highly recommend at the very least grab the demo, check it out. You get a decent amount of songs on the demo. I think you get some from Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 5, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 13, and Final Fantasy 15. I think that's what you get in the demo if I remember correctly. So yeah, plenty of songs for you to sink your teeth into. You can play all of them on any difficulty. I highly recommend checking it out. Highly recommend it. It is a beautiful game. We've been playing it over on stream on Twitch. Chat are loving it. I'm loving it. Except for when I fail miserably on a Supreme song. And even then, chat are loving it. They're just laughing at me. It's horrible. Ruins my self-esteem. If you've played the game, let me know in the comments below. What, you know, whereabouts are you? Are you on expert difficulty, ultimate difficulty? Are you better than me and on supreme difficulty? I'm just getting into supreme difficulty now. I'm just about getting into it. I've done a couple, but most of them still beat me up. And I mean beat me up. The finger cramp's real, man. I'm going to end up with a claw at some point because of this game. I can sense it. That or a broken pad, one of the two. Ugh. Let me know what you think about it in the comments if you've already played it. And yeah, come say hi on Twitch if you want to watch at some point, although Octopath Traveler 2's kind of taken over at the minute. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Drop a like on the video, subscribe for future content, but more importantly than anything, have a great day.